name is Feline Mahoney, and thank you for sharing your practice. Today's class will focus on non-judgment while assisting the body with poses designed to strengthen the core while supporting the solar plexus, Manipura chakra, and the root Muladhara chakra at the bottom of your spine, grounding your thought and intuition. Let's start our practice off today by coming to a seated easy pose. Just come down to your mat, get comfortable with your legs crossed. Rest the back of the hands on your knees. Touch your index finger and your thumbs together for your mudra. Close your eyes, drawing into your senses and the awareness of your breath. Spine lifted, shoulders back. Listen to the sound of your breath. Keep it rhythmic and soft. Take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, let go of anything that no longer serves you. Inhale and enjoy the energy you're breathing into your body. And exhale fully. And take a few more rounds of a deep inhale. And an exhale. Focus on your breath. Inhale. And exhale. Our first sequence is the cat-cow pose. So we're going to come into a neutral tabletop position. You want your hips over your knees, shoulders over your hands. We're going to start by taking an inhale and sinking your navel towards your mat while you tilt your head up. We're going to exhale. We're going to round the spine like a cat. Tilt your chin down. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. We're going to come back to neutral. From here, we're going to practice a couple of sets of barrel rolls. Some people call it rib cage circles. So we're going to take your rib cage and we're going to sink it to the right, around, and up. Around to the right, up around to the left. Down and around to the right, up and around to the left. Around, around, creating space. Come back to neutral. For balance, we're going to take it around to the other side. So we're going to sink down and to the left, back up around to the right, down to the left, around to the right, down to the left, around to the right, round, back around, back to neutral. From here, we are going to start in neutral at tabletop, and we're going to thread the needle. So to thread the needle, you're going to plant your right hand and take your left arm up in the air, gaze up, take the left hand and thread it through in between the right hand and the right knee. You're going to lay your left shoulder as close to the ground as you can, and you're going to extend your right hand. All the while, keeping your hips as square as possible over your knees. We're going to take 6 deep breaths here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to come back up into a neutral tabletop. For balance, we're going to go to the other side. So this time, we're going to plant the left hand firmly on our mat. We're going to take the right hand and reach straight up in the air, gaze up. Thread that right hand in between your left hand and knee. Lay your right hand on the ground, palm facing up, shoulder as close to the ground as you can. Extend the left hand towards the front of your mat to deepen the stretch. Keep your hips as squarely over your knees as you can. We're going to take 6 long, deep breaths here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to come back up into a neutral tabletop. And we're going to do a tabletop child's pose flow. So we start off in the neutral tabletop, and we're going to sink our hips back into a child's pose and extend our arms towards the front of the mat. And then exhale, let all the air out. On your inhale, come up to your knees, arms overhead. On your exhale, sink back in to child's pose. Inhale, arms up to your knees. Exhale, sink back into child's pose. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. On your next inhale, come back up into a neutral tabletop. The next pose we're going to do is called the donkey kick pose. So you'll plant both of your hands firm into the mat. Plant your left knee. Elevate your right knee bent. And we're going to kick out just like a donkey. Kick, bring back down. Right knee up, bent, kick, bring back down. Up, kick, back down. Up, kick, back down. You want to keep your hips as square as possible while you're kicking. Up, kick, back down. We're going to balance this out by doing our donkey kick on the other side. Hands firmly planted, core engaged, left knee up, bent, kick, back down. Up, kick, down. Up, kick, down. Whole time keeping your core engaged. Up, kick, back down. One more time. Up, kick, back down. So the next, we're going to come back to neutral in tabletop. And this is our last tabletop set. We are going to do a variation of the leg raised. So you want to plant your hands and your knees firmly to the mat. We're going to raise the right leg, but this time keep it straight. Keep your hips square. Bring your left arm out. For a balance, we're going to hold it here for 3 breaths. 1, 2, 3. We're going to come back to neutral. We're going to take it to the other side. Hips square. Right knee firmly planted. Lift the left leg and the right hand. Deep breath. 1, 2, 3. Back to neutral. We are going to come into a kneeling position for camel pose. If you have sensitive knees, you may want to grab a second mat, blanket, a towel, and just put a little bit of support under your knees for your camel. You can also provide extra support with a block for when you come back. To come into camel, we're going to first create some space. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, bring one hand back, touch your heel. Inhale to center. Exhale, bring your left hand back, touch the heel. We're going to do this a couple of more times to get our body warmed up for a back bend. Right hand back to heel. Left hand back to heel. Inhale, center. Exhale, touch your heel. Inhale, center. Exhale, touch your heel. Now we're going to do a full camel pose. We're going to inhale. Reach your arms over your head. Bring both hands down to touch the heels simultaneously. Lean your head back as far as you can. Come back. If you have difficulty going all the way back to your heel, that's what your block is for. You can put it tall or put it short and just come back as far as you can and touch your block. Gives you a different reference place to touch. So we're going to come out of camel and we're going to go into sun salutation. So we're going to start by coming into Tadasana. mountain pose at the top of your mat. We're going to take a deep breath, hands overhead, swan dive down into a forward fold. For your forward fold, you want to slightly bend your knees, rest your torso on your knees, touch the ground. We're going to go into a halfway lift by straightening the knees and flattening the back. We're going to plant our hands into the mat and come back into either a full or a half plank. Keep your elbows close beside your body and gently lower down into a Chaturanga. We're going to lift the front of your body either into Sphinx, or if you want a deeper stretch, you can go into Cobra. We're going to plant our feet, plant our hands, and lift our body up into our downward dog. You can pedal your legs a little bit to create some more space in your legs. We call this walking the dog. It's a good way to bring some energy to the hamstrings, strings. Give them a nice stretch. And then you can either step or hop back towards the front of your mat, arms overhead, prayer hands back down to Tadasana. That was our sun salutation. Our next pose is going to be dancing warrior. So for dancing warrior, we are going to start a little bit closer to the back of the mat. We're going to go down into a downward dog. So deep inhale, hands overhead, hands down to your mat, into a downward dog. Nice inhale. As you exhale, extend your right leg into the air straight. On your inhale, bring your right foot in between your hands into a high lunge. Inhale, bring your arms into the air into crescent lunge. Exhale, rotate your back foot for external rotation. Keep your knee over your ankle. We're going to open up into Warrior Two. We're going to slide our left hand down the back of our leg. Extend the right arm overhead and lean back into Reverse Warrior. We're going to take the right knee, put it on the right thigh, and extend the left arm so that it's in line with our back leg into extended side angle. We're going to bring our arm back down, back into Warrior Two. And then we're going to go back to the ground into our downward dog. And that was Dancing Warrior. Pedal your legs a little bit, create some space. You can step back up into Tadasana. We're going to go into a wide angle stance. So with this, you want your legs as far wide as is comfortable for your body. Some people prefer to take a wide stance that's just barely wider than their hips. If you want a deeper stretch, you can take a little bit wider stance. So the first pose we're going to do is an intense leg stretch pose. So with your wide stance, we're going to bend over completely into a forward fold. If you like using a block for extra support, you can grab a block. But the idea is to go over and get as much sensation as you can get, but you don't want to push it to discomfort. We just want a nice stretch to create some space. We're going to stay down here for 3 breaths. 2, 3. So from our intense leg stretch, we're just going to loosely clasp our arms together, bent at the elbows, kind of wrapping your forearms around each other. And we're just going to do a nice little dangle, like just a loose little bit of stretching. Not a lot of movement, just a little bit to help deepen the stretch. We're relaxing the muscles in our back and in our head and in our neck. From there, we are going to bend the right knee and keep the left leg extended. This is a standing side lunge, and we're still in our forward fold. If it's more comfortable for your body, you can use a block to support you in our standing side lunge. We're going to straighten the right leg. We're going to bend the left leg and come over into the side lunge on the left side for balance. We're going to come back to neutral. We're going to take the intense leg stretch up one more level by grabbing our calves or our ankles and just pulling down ever so gently. You only want sensation, not discomfort. From here, we're going to come up into a neutral position. Roll your head around just a little bit. Roll it back around the other way just a little bit. Kind of loosen up. We're going to take the right hand. We're going to go back to the ground with the right hand and plant it. We're going to take the left hand and go straight in the air. This is revolved, wide-legged, forward bend pose. Take a couple of breaths here. We're going to come back up to neutral. Again, slowly roll the head. Back around the other way. And this time we're going to come back over into a forward fold, but we're going to plant the left hand on the ground. And we're going to extend the right hand straight up in the air. Take about 3 breaths here. 2, 3. All right, we're going to come back up to neutral again. We're going to take one more round of Dancing Warrior. So it starts in Tadasana. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward, walk your hands up to the front of the mat. Come into downward dog. Take a nice inhale. As you exhale, right leg in the air. Sorry, left leg in the air. Left leg in the air. I'm going to bring that left foot in between the hands into a low lunge. We're going to take the right foot, rotate it towards the top corner of your mat. Knee tracks over ankle. We're going to come up into Warrior One. We're going to rotate our arms side to side. Gaze over your front hand, Warrior Two. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale here. On your exhale, work your hand down your leg, back leg, right hand over your head. Reach it back behind you. This is a reverse warrior. Inhale, elbow to knee or thigh. Right arm straight in line with right extended leg. This is a side angle. We're going to take a couple of breaths here. We're going to reach back into Warrior Two. Gaze over your front arm. We're going to windmill the arms back to the ground. Pull the left leg back. Back into down dog. Walk your dog just a little bit. And step or hop back to the front of the mat to come back into Tadasana, or mountain pose. Okay, so that was our warrior flow. We are going to do another warrior pose that is not part of the flow. This one is called Warrior Pose with Airplane Arms. So we are going to take the right foot towards the front of the mat, knee tracking over ankle. Take the left foot and we're going to turn it at an angle towards the upper left corner of the mat. So this is our warrior stance. We're going to take a deep breath, windmill the arms out to an airplane position. And we're going to take 3 breaths here. 1, 2, 3. We're going to step up to the top of the mat. This time the left foot is going to be the leading foot. The right foot is going to anchor us in the back. Toes pointed towards upper right corner. Knee tracks directly over ankle. Deep breath in. Reach around to airplane arms. 3 deep breaths here. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to come back up to the top of our mat and stand in Tadasana, neutral position. Set up for our next pose. Our next pose is hands bound rising locust pose. So from here, we are going to start in Tadasana. We want our hands bound, interlocking behind us. We're going to exhale and stretch the arms, pulling downwards, expanding the chest and pulling the neck down behind. All right, so we'll start off in Tadasana. We're going to fold the hands. We're going to inhale. As we inhale, we're going to pull our hands down. Exhale, release. We're going to do 5 sets of this. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, 3. exhale. Inhale, 4. Exhale. Inhale, 5. Exhale. Back to our neutral Tadasana mountain pose. We are going to do tree pose next. So we'll start off, feet firmly planted in the ground. You're going to put all of your weight on your left leg and foot. We're going to take our right leg. You can do different variations of this, whatever works better for your body. This is a balancing pose, but you also want to engage your core. So you can take your right foot, sole of foot, to your ankle. You can do sole of the foot up to your calf. You can do the sole of the foot up to your knee. You can do the sole of the foot to the inside of your thigh. Whatever serves your body the best. If you need to balance on a chair, hold on to a wall to get yourself settled, you can do that. We're just going to take 6 breaths while we work on our balance. I find that sometimes if you find a spot to focus on, that can help with your balance as well. You can do different things with your arms. You can bring them overhead. You can cactus. You can put them on your hips. You can do prayer. Or you can just use them to help with your balance. To come out of the tree pose, just loosen up that right foot a little bit. Firmly planted on the ground. We're going to do the same thing on the other side for balance. So, find you a spot or a prop, focus, bring that sole of the foot to the inside of your leg, wherever it works best for you. Focus on your breath. You want to keep the air moving the whole time. Come out of it, just loosen that leg up a little bit and come down. The next pose we're going to do is a standing balance with one leg raised. Now the important thing about this pose is not how high you raise the leg. So you want to bring your hands to your hips and engage the core by pressing through the 4 corners of the left foot. We're going to start with the left foot planted. We're going to keep the spine straight. And we're going to lift that leg off the ground. Height's not as important as balance, so just only lift your leg as high as is comfortable. Hold for 3 breaths, and then gather in mountain pose. It's okay if you have to bring your toe down and start over. Okay, so to come out of that, same thing, just let that elevated leg dangle a little bit, loosen it up, and then plant it on the ground. And we're going to do the one leg lift on the other side. Again, doesn't matter how high it is, this is about engaging the core and balance. Come out of it, just loosen that elevated leg a little bit and come back into Tadasana. So the next thing we're going to do is staff pose. So we come to a seated position on your mat, but with your legs extended in front of you. So for a good staff pose, you'll want to sit as squarely on your sits bones as you can. That means if you got any meat, you want to get it out of the way and get to the sits bones. You want to sit up tall, straight back. You want to engage your quadriceps and pull your kneecaps in towards your core. And we're going to just keep the core engaged and the quadriceps engaged. And we're going to take 3 slow, deep breaths. 1, 2, 3. From here, I also forgot to mention that your feet should be close to the end of your mat. Find a good spot for your sits bones. And what we're going to do is on our inhale, we're going to reach up. And on our exhale, we're going to forward fold over and get as close to touching our toes as we can. Inhale up. Exhale forward. Inhale up. Exhale forward. Inhale up. Exhale forward. One last time. Inhale up. Exhale forward. Come back to neutral. Our next pose is called fish pose. With this one, if you have a blanket or a bolster readily available, you might find more comfort in just putting it like right under your neck area when you come down into this pose. But what we're going to do is we're going to come into a laying position, but as we're coming down, you're going to put your elbows down for support, and then you're going to ever so gently lean back, keeping your chest elevated, but leaning your head back to where it touches the mat. This is called fish pose. And we're going to take 6 deep breaths here. You want to keep your legs engaged, your core engaged as you breathe. We're going to slowly come back up into a seated position and set up for our bridge pose variation with the arms flow. So for this one, if you like having the blanket for support on your head, you're welcome to do that. If you feel like it'll be in the way, you can get rid of the support altogether and just have your head flat on the mat. But for bridge pose, we want to scoot our sits bones a little bit closer to our feet, which are planted in the mat, and then gently lay down. Whatever works best for your body. You can move your feet more in towards your hips, or you can leave them a little further away from your hips, whatever works best for your body. But as you inhale, you'll reach your arms overhead. And as you exhale, you're going to lift your hips up. And hold it for just a second. Inhale, arms overhead, and release your hips back down. Exhale, arms down, hips up. Inhale, arms up, hips down. Exhale, hips up. Inhale, arms up, hips down. We're going to stay in neutral while we set up for our next pose. This one is called the belly twist flow. So we are going to open our arms out wide into a T shape or a goalpost or a cactus shape. And we're going to inhale and bring the knees over the hips, but the knees will be bent. So as we exhale, we're going to take the knees over to the right. So inhale, knees up. Exhale, take the knees to the right. Inhale to the center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. All the while, your arms and shoulders should be firmly planted. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. You can cactus your arms. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, left, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. One final round. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, back to neutral. So our next sequence is called rocking and rolling. So we're going to hug your knees into your chest, and we're going to start to gently rock side to side, and repeat that about 5 times. Gently rocking side to side. This is massaging your sacrum. It's promoting grounding. So this is the rock part. Now we're going to do the roll part. Get a little bit of momentum going, and we're going to roll up towards the front of the mat. We're going to roll towards the back, roll towards the front. Roll towards the back, roll towards the front. You can exaggerate as much as you want, or not exaggerate. And just keep it really gentle. Whatever works best for your body. So that was rock and roll. From rock and roll, we are going to go into a child pose flow. So for your child's pose flow, we are going to start towards the back of the mat and come into child's pose. Hips down over the ankles and arms behind behind you with palms facing up. On our inhale, we're going to come towards the front of the mat, plant our hands, and do a half plank Chaturanga. Slowly lower down. Extend your legs. Place your hands on the mat, elbows in close to your body, directly in front of you. Pull up with your back into Cobra. Hold here for about 3 breaths. And then plant your knees and work your way back into child's pose. We're going to do 3 rounds of this. Arms behind you in child's pose, palms up. On your inhale, we're going to come to the mat, lower down into Chaturanga from a half plank. Plant the elbows in the mat, arms close to your body. Tighten up with your back and pull up into Cobra or Sphinx. Hold this for about 3 breaths. Go back, kneel back into child's pose. Arms behind you, palms facing up. 1 more round. Back into plank or half plank. Lower down into Chaturanga very slowly. Plant your arms for Sphinx or Cobra. Hold it here for a few breaths. Back down and push back into child's pose. Okay. So our next pose is going to be a half camel pose on toe with 1 leg in the front. So if you'll remember in our previous camel poses, we were reaching back 1 toe at a time. That is a half camel pose when you only do 1 side at a time. The variation that we're doing here is from a kneeling posture. If you have sensitive knees, you can put a towel or a blanket down. You can inhale and bend your left knee and place the sole of your foot on your mat. You're going to exhale and you're going to align your front knee over your ankle. You're going to inhale, you're going to lengthen your spine and expand your chest, bringing your arms up towards the sky. And you're going to tuck your back toes under. So inhale, arms up towards the sky, tucking the back toe under. We're going to reach down to either that back ankle as you're reaching over, or the block. If you have a hard time with balance on this one, you can also reach down to the block. I'm going to try it again. That's why it's a practice. Okay, so we're going to inhale, you reach over, you go down to the ankle, work our way into it. This is a half camel. And for balance, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we are going to take the right knee to the front, plant that foot, left knee grounded, toes planted, and take a nice deep inhale. As we inhale, we're going to reach over, tilt the head back, and go as far back as we can. Now you'll notice in some of your poses that you're stronger on one side than you are on the other. But we have to work both sides to maintain that balance. I'm going to try it one more time. Take a deep breath in. Reach over. Very gentle and deliberate. Go back as far as you can. Now that pose done to form, the arm would have literally been parallel behind me to the ground. And that was half camel with the legs raised. Okay, so next pose is a easy boat pose variation with toes taps. So boat pose is another one that if you have sensitive sit bones, you can sit on a towel or a blanket. And what we're going to do is we're going to add toe taps to our easy boat pose. So you want to start off by sitting up tall with your knees bent and the soles of your feet on the floor. You want to lean backward and maintain the lift in the chest. Engage the abdominal muscles. And we want to inhale and lift the right leg. Exhale, lower the right leg. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, lower the left leg. We're going to do this several times. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. You want to keep your chest elevated. Inhale, exhale. You want your movements to be slow and deliberate. Okay, so from here, we are going to work on our banana pose, which starts off, you want to lay as close to the left edge of your mat as you can. You want to stretch your legs out straight, toes extended as far as they'll go. Same things with your arms. Reach overhead, extend it as far as you can reach. You want to ever so gently inch your toes over to the right, but keep your hips and your torso stable. With your arms, you want to inch them over to the right, but you want to keep your shoulders and your torso stable. And we're going to breathe it out here for about 10 breaths. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9, 10. So we're going to come back to a neutral position, straighten out our arms and our legs. Gently scoot over to the opposite side of your mat. Extend everything as far as you can. And now we're going to inch our feet over to the left, keeping our hips and torso stable. Inch our hands over to the left, keeping our shoulders and our torso stable. 10 more breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to come back to a neutral position on the mat and get set up. Center yourself in the middle of the mat, but with your head closer to the top. And we're going to start off by coming into a half plow pose. So for this, you're going to keep your back on the floor with your hands on the floor, palms facing down, and you're going to extend your heels straight up in the air to stretch the back of your legs. We're going to take a couple of breaths there, and we're going to go into wind release pose flow. So we're going to come from this half plow pose. We're going to bend our knees in. So you're going to inhale up, you're going to exhale when you bend your knees in. We're going to do several rounds of this. We're going to inhale, extend your legs, exhale, knees to the chest. Inhale, extend, exhale, knees to 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 chest. Bring your feet down to the mat. Take a few breaths to relax in between. And we're going to get set up for our next pose. For cycling pose, we are going to extend the legs out on the mat. We're going to bring the right knee to the chest, extend up towards the ceiling, and then lower with control, repeating a cycling motion. So you can do this one leg at a time, or you can do it simultaneously. I'm going to demonstrate it one leg at a time. We're going to put that right leg down to neutral. We're going to repeat with the left leg. You want to keep your core engaged. Sometimes it helps to just ever so gently touch your abdominal muscles. while you have the movement. Okay, we're going to come back down to neutral. The next pose we're going to do is called Happy Baby. So, laying down, you're going to grab one foot, right foot with right hand, left foot with left hand. Knees bent. Your knees are actually, you're going to pull your feet in towards your body. And you're going to gently rock in the Happy Baby pose. If it feels good in your body, you can exaggerate the movement by going wide with one leg, go wide with the opposite leg. Exaggerate your rocking, or you can keep your rocking just very gentle and not exaggerated. Whatever feels best for your body. For a deeper stretch, you can do a straddle Happy Baby pose, which is where you straighten your legs into a straddle as far as is comfortable. You can grab your toes. If you have the flexibility, you can grab the outsides of your feet into a straddle position. You want to hold it long enough for sensation, but you don't want discomfort. If it feels good in your body, you can also rock a little bit here too. It massages your back in a different way than what it was massaged when you had your knees bent. To come out, you just bend your legs back down, feet back to the ground. Alright, so our next pose is a grounding pose. It's called legs up the wall. You might want to put something soft down to support your back. And you want to scoot your sit bones as close as you possibly can so that you can get your legs up the wall. You might have to scoot in even a little bit more once you get started here. There we go. Okay, so you want to keep the back of your neck relaxed with your shoulders resting on the floor. You want to inhale and keep your legs up the wall. And take a couple of deep breaths. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab the right thigh ever so gently and just pull that right leg back towards the body just a little bit. And hold it there for a second. We're going to pull the other leg, left thigh, ever so gently back towards the body. Just a second or two. We're going to repeat this 3 times. All the while, you should be taking slow, deep breaths as you alternate. To come out of this, you're just going to gently walk your feet back down the wall. You can roll over on your side to come out of the pose with less stress on your body. to set up for our next pose. We're going to come down to the mat. And this pose is called Butterfly Pose Variation with the soles of the feet apart. So in a butterfly pose, you can do it the traditional way, or for a deeper stretch, you can do it with the soles of the feet apart. For purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to show it with the soles together, but whatever works best for your body. You will sit squarely on your sits bones. Keep your spine as straight as you can. Sit up tall. Pull the soles of your feet together and pull them in towards your body. For the variation, you would pull the soles of your feet apart. It would be a deeper flex. But I'm going to keep my soles of the feet together for demonstration. So you want to gently take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, ever so gently work into your forward fold. You will find all bodies are not the same when it comes to forward folds. Some of us have a natural flexibility and can go deep into a fold without much effort. Others have to practice quite a bit to even be comfortable doing any kind of a forward fold. But you're here to practice and love your body for where it's at. This is not a competition. This is about self-care. There's no judging. Take a deep breath in, come up, create some space. As you exhale, slowly go back down into your fold. Take a couple of nice deep breaths in here. When you're ready, come back up. We're going to prepare for Savasana, corpse pose, for our cool down. So for corpse pose, whatever is more comfortable for your body. If you would like to cover up with a blanket so that your body can cool down more slowly, put a little pillow or an extra mat under your head. If you're comfortable with no cover, you just stay uncovered. But for corpse pose, we want you completely comfortable on your mat. If you want to put a little support under your knees, you can do that, or not. We'll take a minute to get your Savasana set up, however you're most comfortable. So we want to lie flat on our back with our feet a little wider than hip width distance. Keep the arms beside the body with the palms facing upwards. Let your fingers curl up gently. Adjust your head, neck, and spinal muscles and keep them in one straight line. Relax the whole body and avoid all physical movements. Become aware of the natural breath. Start drawing your attention closer to this breath and observe the rhythmic movement of inhalation and exhalation. Focus on slow, deep breathing. If the mind can stay on the breath for a few minutes, then the body can move into a state of relaxation easily. We're going to take just a few minutes to just be with ourselves and enjoy some quiet time. At the end of your quiet time, return your awareness back to the body and the environment around you. To release the pose, make gentle movements with your fingers and toes, hands and feet, and slowly move the rest of your body into laying on your side. Rest here for just a few breaths. You can gently push yourself up into a seated position. Think back to the beginning of class and your intention. Focus on non-judgment, strengthening the core, and grounding your thought and intuition have been supported during this practice. We are grateful to have a body that's capable of practicing yoga and to be able to practice self-love. Your energy to the chakras, thought, and intuition have been supported. With awareness of your energy and your experiences, you get more connection to your body and to your mind. This is your mind's power. Namaste is about creating and honoring connection and respect. The loose translation is that the divine in me sees and honors the divine in you. We will bring our hands overhead, down to our heart center, closing the practice with Namaste and a slight bowing of our heads. Be well. This concludes today's practice.